It's another Monday, and you know what time it is. It's TSL Mondays, and we're back to talk about the favorite actions that happened in the past week. I'm joined by two of the finest, actually, and in introducing the man on my left, I didn't do justice the last time I was here, and I need to. So in 2009, Tayo became the first Nigerian on the Forbes list from Africa, and it's really great to have you here. How you doing, man?
Good to see you again. Good to be here.
Why do you have happening? Is it like
I never get that kind of. But amen.
how you doing, man?
Not bad.
You're wearing a box. Are you a box fan?
I like Giannis.
Wait, so most of you guys that support box, it seems like there's a trend. There is that Yannis factor there.
Of course, I mean, Giannis is a superstar. The box is not really a big market team. So if Giannis leaves the box, they will lose a lot of supporters here, for sure.
Would you leave?
I will leave.
I know somebody that will leave too. He's watching us right now. All right, I have actually this is one of the most tactically driven individuals I know personally. Ife Dotun, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Nice to be here.
We always talk on spaces on Twitter or the podcast, but it's great to have you live here with me.
It's good to be here.
All right, we'll dive straight into it, but I shout out to a couple of people in the audience, Strokes, Tommy, and all our other guys from the home of TSL Group. It's great to see you guys here. And to start from the Premier League, we need to talk about the most talked about club so far. And the truth is that Manchester United are facing what we call a similar hole that they've been in before. And if I don't think you're a United fan, so I'm going to start with you. What is the current issue? ETA thinks that Manchester United are not in a crisis. But what is the current issue with Manchester United? And why does it seem like, despite the massive changes done in the backroom staff and even in the players, it still seems like they visit some kind of recurring issue?
Okay, so first, I agree with ETH. I don't think United is in a crisis either, right? I feel like there's a difference between you have a problem and you're in a crisis. We had several discussions last season and we spoke about what United could do to be better in the coming season, right? And I said I had three positions as priorities, right? One was a goalkeeper, one was a central midfielder, one was a striker, and the reason was very, very simple. I felt like United's team needed their technical level to be elevated, right? And I feel like you need somebody to, number one, push the team forward from the back. I need, number two, somebody to drag the team down when we are defending as well, right? And in the middle of all of that, you need someone to control, someone to progress, and all of that. That's why I said I personally wanted a ball-carrying midfielder and all of that, right? So what we've seen so far is we've gotten a goalkeeper that can do all of that. We've gotten two central midfielders, though it's not like the quality I wanted in terms of the ball carrying and all of that, but I think two of them are decent, and we've gotten a striker as well. Now, unfortunately, the two midfielders have been unavailable, right? We've had Mount for 1.5 game or 2 games, right?
Yeah.
1.5 game, yeah. And it's been injured since. Now, so what that has done to United is we've played the same midfield that we had last season. If you play last season's midfield, you have last season's problems. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm a bit worried, and the reason why I'm worried is because going into season, ETH said he wanted to play transition football.
Okay.
Now, United have not transitioned anybody. Rather, United have been transitioned.
They've been transitioned.
Yeah, so that's where the worry is coming from. And like I said, it's mostly last season's midfield, so you have last season's problem again. Now, another problem is time is running out. It's 5 games down.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to wait for you to get yourself together. People will leave you behind. And coming in from last season when we finished third, Champions League spots and all of that, the barest minimum decision is to repeat that feat. And you see Arsenal, you see City, you see Liverpool, you see Spurs occupying the top 4 spots so far, and you wonder which of them can United overtake and how well do they have to. So that's where my worry is, not about the other things. The other things I feel like they will come together hopefully in good time.
This is one of the most patient Manchester United fans. The truth is that a lot of them are worried and reactionary. So immediately he said United are not in a crisis. You laughed. What's the reason for that laugh?
I mean, United has always been in a crisis. Since 2013, they've always been in a crisis. If I can I answer that question?
Yeah, you can.
I just feel like you don't just you don't have a great manager really.
Wow.
He's not top quality stuff.
Great is relative.
Yeah, no, but he probably has a benchmark level. I think he will maybe help you finish top 4. I feel that's his peak. But I don't see him at the ilk of Guardiola, Arteta, and Klopp as well. Even Foster Koglu. So, and they brought in Ten Hag because they play really good football. But I don't think Man U plays good football. I feel Man U's games are pretty unwatchable, really. I think I watch it just to
laugh later.
Yeah, because like I see Spurs that they have a new manager. You can already see how you play. As you sort of know like there's a system that they are playing the game with, right? But Man U just looks a little bit disjointed to me, and I still feel like a lot of the games are won by quality.
Yeah.
The reason why
it's individual brilliance.
Yeah, the reason why Man U even finished top 4 last season was because Rashford was in a form that he can't even maintain. You do get so. I mean, when you look at it, you just I keep saying things, right? For you to win, right, to go to where Man U used to be, you need 3 success factors. You need a great elite manager, you need great players, and you need a great board. Man U doesn't have any. So I'm sorry, I don't really have hope for Man U to do well. In fact, I think they'll get worse, really, because Ten Hag is going to be under a lot more pressure. His honeymoon period is over. I feel like he doesn't have great man management. The way he handled the Ronaldo situation, even though I felt like that was a little bit off. I feel like he likes to point the
Fingers a lot.
Yeah. So and I don't need to say, I'm sorry.
Feel free to
Because
free.
it's my turn.
It's a free one.
Feel free.
You guys have hardly gotten recruitment right. I feel like Man U is like a graveyard.
Okay, do you think Oiland is not a good signing?
Oh no. I wasn't even going to go name wise, right? So I was just going to say that it's for a number of reasons, right? And the number one reason is if you look at all the top clubs in the world, right? In as much as the manager has his input on transfers in and whatnot, it's mostly recommendations. There is a backroom staff, there is a recruitment team basically.
Yeah.
Right? In United we've
But it doesn't
mostly
look like you guys
trusted
have
no, in United we've mostly trusted the manager to pick who he wants in the market and you go after said players. Right? Obviously it's hit and miss here and there. But that's not my greatest worry. My worry is the average lifespan of a manager nowadays is 2 years, 3 years. Right now, if you bring in the players that one particular manager wants, and you sack him in 2 years or 3 years, or he resigns, and you bring in another manager, and you do the same thing with that manager, you end up being stuck with these players. Like right now, you have some Mourinho players, some Van Gaal players, some Ole players, so getting all of them to. So I agree with you that ETH has a benchmark, right? I don't think he's the one that will take it, but the very least you can do is a similar job to what Pochettino did with Spurs back between maybe 15 and 20, where their competitors, they're going to be in and around and whatnot, right? Now, at that level, what you need is another person to come and take United. Ten Hag's contract is 3 years. The way it looks, he's going to work hard, very, very hard to get that contract renewed, right? And again, like I always jokingly say, my job is safe. Ten Hag has plenty of things to worry about, right? And back to the man management thing, I think his hands are firm. I don't think he has handled any situation wrongly. Ronaldo, Biggie, Maguire, Sancho, I don't think he has handled anyone wrongly, and it's for a number of reasons. Number one is every football watcher has different things they look at, principles and whatnot. I feel like if you're a manager and you get into the dressing room, if you cannot command authority, there's nothing you can pass across to the players in there. It's going to go in from here and come out from there. Now, I also think that respect is earned, not given, right? So there's one school of thought that says Ten Hag has not earned the respect of the players.
That's right. He won a trophy last season, right?
So there's that as well, right? But with the Ronaldo case, with the Biggie case, with him, I feel that first things first, maybe up to Sancho. Ten Hag has never said any bad thing about any of them to the press. Whatever he says inside, however he treats them in the matchday squad or whatnot, you know that when he got to United, first question, what does Ronaldo do for your team? He gives us goals. He's a very important player, this, is that, is. even when he had the whole suspension issue when he walked out of next game, he captained the team. Do you understand? So as for Maguire, it's so important. Is the safety of the captain, but no, come on. That's why I said I don't think it's bad in front of the press. You defend your players. You do the right. That's what
He's maintained
when he said that about Sancho.
He's maintained it.
I mean, he had a honeymoon period, right? So now he's going to be under pressure.
So Tayo, I'll come to you with.
All right, sure. Yeah.
I was about to wrap up the conversation because we're talking about managers and his honeymoon being over. Why are you so quick to, with all the reasons that Ifeanyi has put on? He said he doesn't have most of his players. So I mean, just in these 5 games, there's been a lot of changes. Look at Klopp, for example. Klopp finished, was he 8th or 7th in his first season? And
Yeah, thereabout.
he found his way. So why are you not giving ET that benefit of doubt?
I mean, this is the same thing. This is like PTSD. This is what we said about Ole. That you were saying. Remember, we had this conversation in this same program maybe 5 years ago. And Ole, Club, don't use Club as a benchmark. There's no process. There's no. You don't need
Different cases for different people.
Exactly. Right. I just feel like Man U is a high pressure job. Even the best of managers will struggle to succeed in that club, right? And I don't think ETH is the best of managers, really. And I don't think Man U has great players as well to sort of augment some of the weaknesses the manager has.
I get your point, and it makes a lot of sense, right? So we're on the same page with most things. Apart from
I was a little bit more optimistic.
Before we move from the ETH conversation, because we'll go to, you guys spoke about sports a lot and get Pusoglu, someone who seems like he's getting it right. There's a question for Tokwe, and so let's have question and you guys will answer it.
Kind of support Tayo.
You not expected.
No, apart from being a boxman, I remember clearly well when we had the whole Ronaldo issue. And first of all, I want to ask you, Tayo, do you consider Cristiano Ronaldo, a Manchester United legend? That's one. Then it went on to, as for you, right, you were making some, to me, excuses for Ten Hag. First of all, do you think that your recruitment has been perfect this season, taking the fact that comparing Onana, I know people say it's too early, but the gaffes, the silly mistakes and the number of goals conceded, I know you're as good as your last defense, right? But this same defense was there last season, right? So now, would you say your recruitment has been right, has been spot on? You let go of the here, who I think that Ten Hag could have fought for. I don't buy the excuse of you have a backroom staff or whatever. He could have fought for him. I think that your number one role as a goalkeeper is to forget the ball playing thing. That thing is just a wash, in my own opinion, right? Now you have a goalkeeper who can use the speed property and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you're still considering a lot of goals. Then, in terms of your midfield, what is going wrong with Casemiro? What has gone wrong with Casemiro? I asked that question to Ashobo, and Ashobo was saying, the system. No, like Casemiro has been literally non-existent this season. There have been games where, like, I struggled to even see Casemiro at all, and this was one of the best midfielders last season. And then in terms of man management that you were talking about, if he is so good at being a man manager, what happened with the fact that Rashford went from the hottest guy last season to be a damn near average player? I would rather pick Son. I would rather pick so many people ahead of Rashford right now. So just to you, do you think you've gotten your recruitment right? And do you really think that Ten Hag has really justified himself when it comes to man management, given the fact that the same players are now, for lack of a better word, shite? And also, what happened to Casemiro? And as to you, I really want to know that your opinion on Ronaldo being a Manchester United legend.
So, I mean, Ronaldo is obviously a Manchester United.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. He's probably maybe the best player that ever played for the club. Not in terms of Manchester United, but like his whole...
Is that what makes you a legend?
Your wording is super. His finest work was Manchester United. However, he has done enough for United to be a United legend.
Of
So
He won. He's the only.
I can agree with that. Maybe not the top legends, because
Well, he won a Ballon d'Or with Manchester
that. So
Other people
is that what is? I'm sorry. Is that award for Manchester
guys-
United?
There are 3 guys outside United statues. 3 of them have won the ballon. That's Bobby Charlton, then the slow.
He's not the first person. So.
Regardless, right?
Yeah.
Ronaldo is.
No. Yeah,
No-brainer first Ballon.
Sorry. I think to be a legend, some of the decisions you make in your career can also affect
the club.
something like that.
I think it doesn't have much. It's like players like, say for example, maybe Thierry Henry, for example.
Depending on how you leave, Ronaldo left United at the peak of his powers.
I don't know.
That is see. Let's establish the fact Ronaldo is a United legend.
Exactly. Good.
But when we are talking about the top,
No,
do you think he affected with some of the decisions he made?
We're on the same page. So
Exactly.
obviously, when you're calling United legends, you probably start from Charlton,
Rooney,
all these people.
these guys, yeah.
Can I say something?
But it's definitely up. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, there's the Holy Grail.
Okay.
There's somebody I'm missing. But I know it's Dennis Law, Bobby Charlton. No, it's not even Cantona. There's the 3 guys. There's the 3rd person outside. I can't remember right now, but that's not important. So now after those 3 people, you probably go to the likes of people that have the longevity advantage. Players like Ryan Giggs, players like Gary Neville, players like
Exactly.
ATC, right? Now after that, you not get into players like Rooney, right? After that, you now get into a mix where you have ability. It will come in. It's like saying,
Exactly.
It will come in.
Exactly. Thank you. I think it clarifies it.
Legend.
It clarifies it.
But I want
that. It's 100% legend.
if you don't have to, if you're not short of time, right?
Okay.
Like, what's your issue with Ronaldo being classified as a
I don't know.
as a first ballot Manchester United legend?
Yeah, I think
Because-
because United players.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
They are
for United.
With the decisions they made for
not
United,
decisions,
it's not a matter of their ability.
Your
You're
career
thinking of
United.
Ronaldo is one of the best players in the world, probably first or second, according to some. So let's leave that. But when you're talking about legends, I think it transcends ability.
So let
He
me
spent 5 years in United.
so let me tell you something very interesting.
Then went to spend his better years at another club.
He's still in Manchester United legend.
But we've agreed that. We've agreed
Hold on
that.
1 second. So let me give you a different perspective. Now, if you do your greatest players of all time, and you do at least one United legend, now you agree that legend doesn't necessarily mean we're the best player.
Exactly.
On the list for greatest players of all time, Ronaldo will be higher up in that list than United legends. Yeah, of course. And you know why? Not because he wasn't better than those guys, right? But there are a lot of factors apart from ability that make it. So that's what
I don't disagree with you, but I am getting
But
some.
it looks like he has.
Yeah, his body language. There's some resistance wins.
Yeah, but-
Sorry, does a legend do what he did with the interview with Piers Morgan?
I mean, Man United is
Tayo, answer the question. Let's move on. Does a legend do that?
well.
Okay, so
Well, you I mean,
Does a legend do that? Yes or no?
for and against, right?
Yeah,
So let me say for 4.
perfect. I like this.
For 4, you say okay. Obviously the club has been in crisis. No one has spoken from the team, right, to talk about the decade that the club is going through, the type of management and all of that. Against, you'll be like, why is he taking out the dirty lenience in public? So I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it.
I don't even care about the dirty linen. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
He did. What was the motive?
And he was selfish.
Yeah.
So are you telling me players shouldn't be selfish?
I'm not saying you
That's why I
should.
said he
Then
doesn't change
own who you are. You get own who you are.
Okay,
I know we've agreed that he's a legend. Let's not push past that. But I'm just trying to say you can drop down that ranking. You can. That the ranking of it's not a matter of ability. It's not ability alone.
It's just
But yeah,
like
because
saying,
of time.
it's just like saying Roy Keane is not because of Ireland because he left the squad during the World Cup.
Even left United on that controversial something.
Exactly. So you say it's not
So
legend.
who called Roy Keane out of all the? He's been calling a lot. He didn't call.
No.
Is it in the first?
No, not with the Holy Grail.
No, we're gonna remember someone who became the head goal scorer for United during his time before he said, "Okay, let me leave." We're going to remember. You get like so. These are the people that we would remember.
I hope I remember what Tayo's question is. But so first things first, recruitment. First things first.
I think he started to.
Yeah.
Talk about it, sorry.
Okay, so first things first. Recruitment. So, like I said, if you look at the top teams in the world, right, managers manage and impute for transfer decisions and whatnot, for the ins, for out. Some of them say, I don't want this person again, right? But to bring people in, what you get is mostly recommendations. It's mostly like, oh, I want a striker. I want a winger. A winger that takes people on. I want this. And they bring maybe player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. You try and get player 1. It doesn't work out. You go for player 2 and all of that, right? So I feel like the problem at United is the manager have to scout, recommend, and still do all the chasing and whatnot, right? And it's what a bad structure will do for you, right? So again, it's not an excuse, it's facts, it's reality of matter. It's not Ten Hag is not the only manager that suffered from it. Every United manager has suffered from it since Ferguson. Do you understand? So, does it look good? No, I don't think so. I feel like managers should manage. Do you understand? You will see talk about how Arteta had an input in Declan Rice and all of that, but you see Edu and the other guys behind the scenes doing most of the work. United don't have that. Do you understand? So the recruitment, I feel that when you tell someone to bite more than a touch, anything you see, you take it like that. You've trusted him to do everything. So you cannot now say, oh, you do the right thing, put the measures in place, and you ensure that you get the best result for the club. Do you understand? That's one. Two, Onana again. So I like to think that a lot of people look at it as simplistic, in the sense that if you make saves, you're good. If you don't make saves, you're not good. There's a reason why Onana's top 30 Ballon d'Or nominee. It's top 10 for the Aviation Award. It's also nominated for best goalkeeper at the FIFA The Best, right? It's not because he was playing ball. He had the most saves in Champions League last year and most clean sheets as well. This season, it's 5 games gone, and it's 5th or 6th for the number of saves made as well, right? Now, what that points to is having to make the same number of saves that the girl was making last season, and I already explained why. If you play last season's midfield, you have last season's problem. And if you play an unstable centre-back carrier, right, you will have the same. In fact, you have considered 10, 11 goals this season, and off the top of my head, 5 of them are being the same thing, right? The shifts,
Cut back,
and nobody is there. Do you understand? So it's more of a systemic. Now, it's not to say that he has not made mistakes, right? Because I can pick maybe 1 or 2 goals that, oh, this guy should, for like the Brighton thought, we definitely should have done better. Do you understand? There are question marks here and there about the Declan Rice goal as well. I think it was a deflection. It could have gone anyway. Do you understand? So I can't say it's the best, right? But the reason why Onana was brought into United is, like what I said when we started the show, right? United needed to raise their technical level. You need to be able to recycle the ball. As far as Everton yesterday, I don't think Graham made any save of moves. What he did for Arsenal very well yesterday was recycling the play, one. And whenever Everton brought out the threat of set pieces, was coming out to claim the ball to extinguish that threat, right? So you can't just say you have to be a ball playing keeper or a shot stopper. You have to be all encompassing. There's a reason why I think right now Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world, because he does everything in equal measure. A lot of people talk down on Ederson's shot stopping ability, but I won one against West Ham. He made a great save. Do you understand? So you can't just say make saves, don't do this, and you're good. No. You're not good. Or play the ball, don't make saves. There's a reason why Bravo came in and Pep sent him back out. Do you understand? Bravo was playing the ball, but it wasn't making the saves. Do you understand? So again, it's 5 games, right? A lot of things will change. When Onana is a problem, that's if it even becomes a problem. We won't have to stretch to make conclusions here and there. It will be clear to even the blind, right? Now, Casemiro.
All right, to wrap up, because we've spoken about United for too long.
In my head, I have a way that top teams should play. I feel like top teams should play like a close fist. It's difficult to play through him, right? And when you're going, you go this way. When you're coming back, you come back. United play like this. It's so easy to play through United. And what you have is, because they're shifting United players, people have to take more responsibilities, both in the defensive phase and in the attacking phase. Bruno and Rashford have been Man U's best attackers for 2 years, 3 years. Do you understand? And the reason is simple. They're the only ones that can do it on themselves, do it by themselves, rather. And it speaks more to a systemic deficiency that really the coach remove. Oh no, it's not just Ten Hag. United has scored 6, 7 goals this season. Rashford has only 4. Do you understand? He has not looked good this season. I don't think he has looked good this season. Do you understand? But then again, you can only do so much when you're not in the right. For example, you can take him out of the team and put him in maybe a City team, for example. I saw City West Ham. Alan missed 5 big chances. Go on score sheets. Nobody's going to remember the 5 big chances. You're going to remember that I scored. Do you understand? So it's neither you're again, time will tell with most of these issues. I feel like what you think are excuses for Ten Hag, if he gets to the stage where Ten Hag has to win, then you have no excuse, right? People defended Ole for so long, saying, "Oh, he's doing this right, he's doing this wrong, he's doing this right, he's doing this wrong." It got to a stage where he was doing everything wrong. Do you understand? So it's neither here nor there. I just want a situation whereby everything that has planned with the midfield, with the attacker, with everything is available to him. And we see, oh, is this even good in the first instance? There's like, oh, it's not good then.
All right. Thank you very much, Ifedoton. Taya, I'll let you wrap up on that United talk. You said you have something to say.
So
as regards what you
that's
said.
right. At the end of the day, your job is not to be good. You're not in competition in isolation. You're competing with other teams like Man City, Liverpool.
But that's why we agree that it's not the one that take United.
Yeah.
Beyond
So-
guys.
so,
I don't. It's just like saying in the league this season, you probably need around 90 points to me. I don't think Ten Hag and this United team can deliver 90 points. So it's not even a title. It's mostly he did 75 last season. Try and do better.
All right. Let's move on. Like I said, it's Man U everywhere. Man U ended the international break last week.
I'm actually tired.
We started, bro, like. But let's go to someone that is doing very well. And you guys mentioned them is Spurs. How do you start that well? And like, what has he done? He has a record. He's gone through 3 teams now: Yokohama, Celtic, and now Tottenham. And he has not lost at home for 50 games. 50 games. And you could feel that in the belief that Tottenham were not going to lose against Sheffield, despite the fact that they went a goal down. So, to you, what do you feel is done differently for Tottenham, and why do they look a better proposition that they've not yet lost a game so far in the Premier League?
Yeah, I think he's a good coach. They'll definitely still lose at home. I don't think they have lost any. I mean, they have not really played anybody of note really that you don't expect them to beat. So, but he's a good coach. I think Harry Kane leaving is also a burden off Kane, right? And so he can now. It kind of just has like a very clean slate to put his ideas, build the players' confidence. He's not going to obviously win the league, So he's just going to be like a Pochettino type of player or manager, you understand, in terms of playing attractive football. I mean, I've watched interviews and his sound is a very good,
Very sound, very sound, and very likable.
well, and
Very likable too.
very likable. So it just seems like it's not like Tottenham were a terrible team. Do you get before he joined, right?
They're coming from a terrible season. Let's put that way.
Yeah. But he has brought out the best in
Bissouma.
Madison is a good buy. Son has the shackles up. He's now the main man.
Is he the main man? Son the main man?
I think.
Not Madison?
No, okay, so it's a different need to say main man, maybe through gameplay or whatnot, but
Okay.
main man in terms of
Scoring, that's Son. Obviously, like, is it going to be Richarlison who just scored his first goal? My thought, I think Madison has been unleashed. I think he's been given the keys of that Tottenham team and he's accepted it gracefully. And you could see, I think the game against Burnley where they won 5-2. That's the game that shows that Madison is the center of that team now.
But Son is still the same man.
When you say main man, what do you mean main man? Main man is scoring goals. Is that what you're saying?
okay. So,
I don't agree with that. I'm sorry.
Let me just, I know we said we're not going to speak about United again, but it's Bruno and Rashford all over again. You know that one person is going to score, but one person he charge of the team. Do you understand? So it's like saying 400k a week, you give it to your main man. Do you understand? But you know that if Bruno doesn't play, nothing is going to team. If Madison doesn't play, nothing is going to stay. But like giving him the captain band, he was playing off the left, you're struggling for goals, you cream was your number 9 and all of that. It's because you want him to be like your. It's what we call franchise player in the NBA, right? And so that's why I think Son is now.
Son is the main man. So sure.
You know what? I'm going to throw this to the crowd. Tayo, who is the main man for Tottenham Hotspur this season?
I'll give it to Madison.
Madison.
I'll give it to Madison.
Madison. Tell me, who is the most important player for Spurs this season?
Bissouma.
Bissouma.
I'm phrasing the question wrongly. What was said here was Kane has gone and there's a new main man.
Which is Son.
That's what was said. So now if you think it's Madison, good. So if you think
Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. So
Thank Thank you very much.
The question.
Chooks, what did you say is the winner?
The son is definitely son.
I'm sorry, how many goals has Son scored this season? 3. Okay. In one game, right? So what exactly do you mean? He scored only 3 goals in one game and is the most important player. How?
See, let me use NBA. So
Bro, that's the perfect way to explain.
let me.
Alright.
Son is your max player. He's the star of the show.
Do you understand? You can have somebody else that's just
He has the track record. He has
everything.
everything. The team is his team. I'm sure the reason why Postecoglou gave him the captain husband was like, bro, Kane is gone. You're my man now.
Let me come to you about the manager. Coming from Celtic, like the people felt that the change in league would not. What's the word? There will be a very clear change and it would affect him. But since Kane has gone, I think we can see the real Tottenham now. We can see their issues. Kane's goal scoring is not being masked anymore. So just how well has he been able to change the narrative at the club?
Words that's escaping my mind at the moment, right? Is something that has to do with when you have maybe plenty soldiers or so where you take out like the biggest piece and all the smaller pieces around have to take on extra responsibility to fight for survival.
Okay.
I think it's similar to what's happened in sports, right? Like I said, Postecoglou is very, very likable. If you listen to him speak and all of that, so like you buy into his ideas immediately. Even though I'm not even the dressing room, I just listen to him speak until I'm like, why is this guy talking like this? So I think in that same manner, it's easy for him to pass his message across players. There's also picked his captaincy in that spine as well. It's Son, Madison, Romero, right? Making all of them, and you still have the older like Ben Davies in the team, do you understand? So I feel like what he has done is, first things first, have a good score. There's this feeling of togetherness. So after they won the Sheffield game, they went to attend the crowd together and all of that. So I think if you're in a good place, it's easier to play good football. Do you understand? So
With no expectation.
I think at one stage, adversity will come. And maybe at that stage, you know what it's all about. But so far, so good for him. I'm very, very happy for him because, like I said, it's a very likable person. I think that we're having a discussion just before Gwendo said that. I said I don't like mercenaries in football, right? When you try and jump your progression curve, I think that's what sports trying to do the content, right? They wanted to win immediately, and I do not think that their team was a team that could win immediately, right? What Postecoglou has done for them is put them in and around where they should be. You play well, you try your best, and you try to create something sustainable, something consistent. So at the end of the season, you can finish in and around top 4, and the next season you need to improve from. So there's steady progression here and there. I'm sure we also have good equipment because of them, Patrick guy and all of that. Do you understand? So I think we should watch out for Spurs. Next game is a big one. We'll see
what you're made of.
A bit of adversity. Yes. I think regardless of the results in that next game, I think it doesn't change much, right? Losing to Arsenal is never a bad thing, right? Especially against Arsenal. And if you look at the record in the local derby of recent, it's been mostly one-sided and all of that. But again, I'll keep an eye out for him. I'll see how he manages to chop and change, because you have to make rotation. At some stage, you have to make big calls and you need to play, who to drop, and all of that. You have injuries here. I don't think Spurs are in Europe, so it doesn't have fixture congestion and all of that. So all the best in it. All the best in it.
Brilliantly said. I'll just let you guys predict where you think Tottenham will finish this season, with no major European adventures.
I think the last time I said they're not going to finish top 4, right?
Yeah, you didn't have them to the top 4.
So I'll stick to it.
So is that 5th? Wow. After
I said wow. I was going to say 5th.
He didn't pick United in top 4.
So I was going to say 5th, right? And the reason is simple. I feel like by the time they go up, calm down, go up, calm down, at the end of the day, probably balance out at about 5th. I think over the course of the season, they should be 14th that will finish ahead of them. Maybe they'll finish 5th, 6th, but
What's your top 4 though? Because I don't know.
So top 4 is tricky at the moment. If you want to be lazy and maybe I don't want to stick my neck out for anybody, I just go with the easy top 4 right now. And the easy top 4 right now is City, Liverpool, Arsenal and Spurs. That's the easy top 4 right now.
Spurs make it.
That's the easy top 4 right now.
Okay.
But I feel like it's 38 games. People will drop off. People will catch up. Right? So I feel like it's cast as a stone for City, obviously. I think Arsenal and Liverpool will make it. Now it's the fourth spot that is a bit dicey.
Those are lying.
Oh no, so United have catching up to do, but it's not impossible. We've seen stranger things happen. Do you understand? United have to do a lot of fixing up to make top four, but it's not
On Newcastle. I will put them in my top four.
So here's what I think. I know that this is not part of the question, but I think Newcastle will probably finish 8th or 9th. I think that the fixtures will be a bit too much for them. So I don't, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's again, it's going ahead of your cup. I think getting Champions League this season was too early for them, right? But then again, it's in your front. You can't shy away from it. You have to face it head on and giving them the worst good possible. But then again, I'm sure they are the boys. They relish the challenge and they're trying to make the best of it.
Brilliantly said. It's been a great conversation so far. We'll soon be switching to the live show where we have game quizzes and we'll be testing some of your football knowledge. But to wrap up the conversation for today, we're going to be talking about Nigeria's wealthy options in attack. And I mean, Awoni is playing tonight, so we might see another Nigerian score again. But bro, we saw, if you watched the game on Friday, Terry Murphy against PSG,
Super performance.
that was a 10/10 performance. And like I can tell you, I can count the number of 10/10 performances I saw last season. But for Nigeria to have this amount of attackers going into, I don't think we've had this clout in terms of attackers going into a tournament in a very long time. Do you feel we've gotten to the right point, or do you think there's going to be an imbalance in that team going into next season's AFCON?
Okay, so funny thing is, earlier today I saw a post, I think a TSL group chat where someone says something about when you want to go and play ball. I said, what position do you play? Everybody does and
Strike.
So, what we have now is a lot of strikers and all of that. I also think it's a lot of, like it boils down to our structural development here in Nigeria. Most, if you're playing up front, it's mostly natural ability. I mean, there's a lot of coaching nowadays, right? But you don't have it. There are a lot of things that if you don't have it, you don't have it. Right? But I think it's a good problem to have. If you have players like Kirichi, Osimhen, Agoni, Boniface,
Gift Orban.
Jonathan, it's a Lukman, Simon Moses. You have players everywhere. These are even players that are mostly multifunctional, that can play in different positions up front. Jonathan. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good problem to have. And with options, right, you can think and you can, go to the AFCON, yeah. I was telling someone that in Nations Cup, the most tactical teams don't end up winning, right? Because Nations Cup does not necessarily favor, it favors the most direct and compacting, right? There's a reason why back in the Egypt was winning Nations Cup back to back, and they were finding a way to bench their star strikers. Then the middle was start this game, bench Zaki, the same thing. Even the captain Osama Hassan, in and out. Do you understand? It's because they were mostly, you could not get a way to get consistent shots against them, right? So I feel like if we build a system where we are tough to beat, and we depend on this, like for example, you can play a front four or maybe like the front four that started against Sao Tome, something like Kelechi, Awoni, Osimhen, and Lukman, right? You can do that and expect brilliance from them and be steady at the back. Do you understand? So I feel like we have a good chance. I'm not really confident in Posero, but I feel like we have a good chance mostly because of the magic that we can create going.
Brilliantly said. Tayo, how about you? I mean,
I sort of agree with him as well. I will mainly go for like a 5-3-2 or maybe a 4-4-2. I don't think we really have creativity in midfield, so maybe let's go with a 5-3-2.
You understand? That's just what.
Let's just put some hard-working midfielder and put some wingers,
Especially because we're not so confident in our goalkeepers as well.
Exactly.
Do you understand? So you make it
So
right and backs and actually win something like that.
So let's do a 5-3-2, a defensive 5-3-2. Let Osimhen and Awoni let them slug it out.
And when they're tired, Boniface comes over there, there's always the tricky of over.
That's all.
brilliantly said. I'll put it to the crowd. Tommy, you're coming up first. Tommy. So, I mean, let him get the mic, please. We're talking about Nigeria's attack. Yeah? And what do you feel or what do you think is the best lineup that we should go with going into the AFCON in 2024? I mean, we play 4-3-3 now. Do you think it's time for us to change so that we can actually show this, because we cannot waste this current form that most of these guys are on. The minute we do that, we now lose. We lose the cloud that comes with it.
We play Iheanacho with the 9, play Chukwueze on one side, have Lukman on the left, or Moses Simon on the left, and obviously there's only one person that should be up top. Where we actually have an issue is we need 2 destroyers to play that kind of football, and NGD, we don't have that. We actually have though, but it's not been tested a lot. NGD's legs have been shaky recently, but for Leicester, I think he's been picking for. But he's playing a more advanced role. So it's very sketchy. Like a box-to-box role. There's this guy in Club Brugge, Muyedika. He's been called up, and the boy is really good. Very good destroyer. Yeah, he got a few minutes in last match, so I was so happy seeing that. And we also have the tank in Brentford. Onyeka, who can also do a job. Now that's against the good teams. Against the poor teams, I would rather shift Iheanacho to play as a false right winger and have Bright or Said Samuel or I know play behind him as an attacking fullback, and have Awoni and Osimhen, or Boniface and Osimhen with Lukman or Moses Simon and left. The problem with Murphy is, unfortunately, he's a slightly different profile, and African football is more physical than, so him and Gift Urban, one of them would have to drop forward. So if Murphy continues the form, Murphy will go ahead of Gift, obviously. But if Gift continues, Murphy will have to. Whichever way, one of the two of them will drop.
Brilliantly said. Let's hear from Chuks. Chuks, how do you think Nigeria should set up going into 2024?
Was Murphy anyway because he's my guy. But then I would say Osimhen, because you can't even replace him in the first place. Osimhen, I'll put a Murphy instead of Gift, and I'll play Lukman.
All right, fair enough. What do you guys think about those two lines?
I think with the world of options we have going forward, it's difficult to pick a wrong lineup. Right, everybody looks good, but it's interesting that Osimhen has missed the last 2 Nations Cup for different reasons and all of that. So this time around we have good options. So even if it's not available, right, you can get easy Awoni, Murphy, Boniface, and whatnot. And again, like I said, when you get to knockout football in the AFCON, you have to be decisive, you have to be incisive. Right, the last 20 minutes, you can get as many of these guys as possible on the field if you really go. So again, who starts is not important, it's getting the job done. That's and with the world of options, I think we have a very, very, very good chance of doing something good at the AFCON.
All right.
Who's the more creative of the striker options that we have outside of Osimhen?
Creative.
All of them are DIY strikers. I like to call them DIY strikers. They'll do it yourself, right?
Would we call Iheanacho a striker?
No. So everybody has put Iheanacho either forward, right, or behind the striker and all of that. So I think it's mostly a big man, small man, something of ONSK, and all of that. So it's maybe go long and you win the small balls in and around. So it can be very useful for us.
So, do we have any strikers technically
that can make chances?
as the
So I actually won't be surprised to see someone like, maybe it will be play off the left.
I'll put it will be that
In the center of the no. It's a good. So the reason why I brought that up is because you might have maybe like the Onyeka midfield. Do you understand? So if you want to play maybe 4-4-2 and you want to find space, for example, maybe it's third match, we've qualified from our group or something, you can play 4-4-2, you can play it will be off. Maybe Lukman has played the first 2 games. Do you understand? So he can play wide, he can play like a number 10, he can also play in same. He can split there a lot for Everton before his move. So again, going forward, I don't think anybody has much concerns. The other concerns are at the back,
and the goalkeeper.
It's neither here nor there. So it's a good one for us. I think what it has to be alive.
Well, just before we round up, I'm going to get you guys. What was your action of this week? Probably across Europe. What did you enjoy most? What did you enjoy seeing the most? Which player is exciting you the most, or what excited you the past week the most?
I would say I'll stick to Liverpool, right? So I watched the game against they play Wolves. You're right, and I saw a decisiveness in Klopp that he has lacked for a while. So Liverpool started the game really poorly. I felt the selection was a bit dodgy actually, But I like how he was a little bit decisive halftime, changed the team. I think he removed McAllister to bring in. I can't remember who he brought in. He brought in another midfielder. I think
It was Diaz.
Yeah, it was Diaz. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like the structure he put in. Now took in Soboslai back.
Yeah, immediately equalized. He went back to it was like I'm losing 1-0 and took off the kitchen sink, go for it. Immediately went to 1-1.
Remove Diaz.
Guys, we'll take our points. But let's try and get better. So, and that's very, very good in-game management. That is one of the points of
Yeah. So
watch and see what's happening.
And if you see the history of Klopp he has good tactics before the game, but it's in-game management.
It's questionable sometimes. It's mostly predictable.
Yeah. Also, I like the fact that he has grown as a manager to that level. Even though he has taken him 7 years, maybe we would have won more trophies by then if he did that. So
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Happy about
Thank you very much, Tayo.
Okay, so I think standout moment this weekend it has to be the Milan derby, right? I saw Inter 5 Milan award, and mind you, this is not just a pushover Milan team. I think Milan have been good this season. They've had some good signings here and there, and I think Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, most of their new guys, along with Leao, they've shown good attacking quality, but Inter was just a bit too much for them, right? I have a friend that says God is repaying Simone Inzaghi back by shortchanging him during his playing career. Like, his brother was a far better player during the playing career, but he's a far better manager than his brother. You could see how Inter, like, they tore them to pieces. I think it's the 4th or 5th Milan derby in a row where Inter's in front within 10 minutes. It's not even winning. They've been in front within 10 minutes. They always start quicker. So I saw
Like no blood.
Yeah, so I saw the game and I was like 1-0, they're on the ropes. The next thing, so run bring something out of. If you've not seen that, go and look for it.
I saw it.
So yeah, that's my standout moment for this weekend. Milan did one.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming in and doing this. I appreciate you so much, my guy. So, thanks so much. Till next week. Goodbye.